Hello and welcome to the SmartChurch demo. The purpose of this video is to show you what SmartChurch is, what our hidden features are, and what exactly is the difference between the free version of SmartChurch and the premium version of SmartChurch. To begin with, if you're not familiar with SmartChurch, SmartChurch is a church app that provides you with the communication tools that you need to connect with your members and to allow your members to connect with one another. What you're going to find is that there are three major differences between freemium and premium. In the premium version, you get web access, which is for anybody who does not own a smart device, they can still access the church app from a website. Number two, you're going to get giving, which allows your members to give 24/7 to your church, even when your services are snowed out and even when they don't have cash or check. And number three, there are specific church admin controls that are exclusive to the premium version, and we will show those throughout the demo today. So to begin with, I'm logging on to the computer screen, which means I'm using a premium church, and we'll click here to log in. And what you'll see is we come to your church's wall, or to the SmartChurch demo wall. What the wall is the aggregate of everything happening at your church. So somebody can just come to the wall and start flipping through and seeing what's happened in the last couple of days at my church and what have I missed. If that's all that they want to see, then they can get caught up on everything happening at your church very, very quickly. For this demo though, I'm going to skip over to the giving page to begin with, and we'll come back to the wall and what some of the features of that wall are. So if I click on Give, you're going to notice that we come to a page where it lists all of the different needs that our church has. You're also going to notice that there are photographs with each need. There are descriptions with each need. There's an amount that's left for that need to be fully funded, which is evident to all of your members. And there's also a comment button and a heart button. So the reason we have all of these features built into our giving page is we were looking at how many ways could we help your church increase generosity. And what we found is that there are a number of things that do that. Number one, separating things into specific needs will increase giving because people love to give to specific things that your church has asked for. Number two, photographs inspire giving. It's more exciting to see a picture of the mission trip to Nigeria than to actually read about the mission trip to Nigeria. Number three, knowing how much is left would help your members to know how much to give, and it would also help a member that perhaps has the means to fund that item fully all by themselves. And so a lot of your needs will get funded all at once by somebody who decides they want to give the full amount and remove that need from your giving page. And then last but not least is the comment button. The comment button is a way for your members to participate in encouraging generosity at your church. Your pastor is always standing up and telling people we need to raise a little bit of money, or we ask for your generosity, or our budget has gotten tight. That's something your pastor does a lot, and it can get old when one person's asking for it all the time. But in the comments section, one of your members can comment on this trip and say, I went on this trip last year and it changed my life. So here they post that to the wall, and it encourages people maybe that haven't paid attention to that trip or that have only heard the pastor talk about it. It encourages them to also want to give to that need. So it's a great little tool that a lot of your members will love to have. So for the sake of this demo, we're going to give a little bit of money. We're going to give $300 to the mission trip. We're going to sign up for the women's retreat. And the Robinsons family, whose house burned down yesterday, we want to give enough money to get them back on their feet. So as you can see, the amount is totaled up right here at the top. So I come over here to the Give button, I click Give. And what that's going to do is actually going to take me away from SmartChurch and into PayPal. Now PayPal is the largest merchant services provider in the country, in the world actually. And they also are the most secure. And we are not a huge app company, so we want to provide the best security for your members, and there's nobody better than PayPal. So you can see PayPal keeps track of what your members are giving to. They also provide you with a lot of reports so that you can see how members are giving, what they're giving to, and keep track of that for your own records. Now your members can choose to log in with their PayPal account, and if somebody uses PayPal, what we've learned is that they love PayPal and they will want to log in, and this will be very exciting to them that you're using PayPal. But if they don't use PayPal, then you can skip this and give with your credit card by clicking this button. So you do not have to have a PayPal account in order to use our giving function. So we're not going to give today to a fake church, but that gives you an idea of what that looks like. Now let's go into the management functions. This is how your church can manage the app. So here you can see that our fake church raised $3. And you can see what each need has as far as what's left. And this is just a really quick synopsis. This is not the number of reports that you can get via PayPal to let you know what's happening on the giving page. But here you can kind of see what's happening. So let's pretend that the women's retreat has just passed by and we need to archive it. So you click archive, and in 3 seconds, that need is off of all the phones for all the church apps in your church. Now, let's say that 10 months go by and you decide it's time to start promoting the women's retreat again, but you don't want to enter all that information because you have limited time. So we click 3 buttons this time. In about 5 seconds, the women's retreat is back on to everybody's church app, and they can now log in and give to that or register for that women's retreat. You can also see how easy it is to add a need. Adding a need, you just upload a photo or just put the church's logo or a picture of the church if you don't have a photo for this need. You put the name, then you put the amount, and then we come to the start date, which you can put a start date and a start time for this. So let's say that we want to do it on April the 1st. So we skip all the way over to April the 1st, and then we end it on April the 30th. Perhaps your pastor is preaching through a certain sermon series and he wants to give just in the month of April to this need. And then here is where our description goes. So all of this is all done in about a minute or two, maybe 3 minutes with uploading a picture. And then when you click save, I'm not going to do that this time, but this is basically what the result is. It pulls it up just like this, and it pops onto everybody's phone so that they can give to this. And of course, with that particular need, we set it to pop on the phone on April the 1st. So it won't be right away, but that's actually ideal for you because you have limited time and you can go ahead and set up all your needs early for the entire year. What you're going to find with the giving page is you're going to find greater generosity as people have more convenience. They can give 24/7, they can give without cash and check, and it's always on their phone. So there's no excuse of I forgot my checkbook or I just didn't remember. It's always on their phone. So that's the giving page. Now let's move over to what is basically your member directory page or the followers page. Here you're going to see all the people that are members of your church. You're going to click on Brian Saylor, and here you're going to find out what his phone number is, what his email is, and a little bit more information about him. And Brian also wanted you to know what his social media is. And that's one of the misconceptions about SmartChurch is that we're not trying to take over for Facebook or Google Plus or Twitter. Not at all. We want to enhance those opportunities by providing that information to your members so now they can connect to each other in the way that they prefer. And so any of your members that use these types of social media, they're going to connect to Brian using those, and that's going to build greater community between Brian and the rest of your church. I can also see what other connections he has in case I want to connect to one of those people. So the first question that always comes up is this information going to be public? A lot of your older members of your church, as well as some of the members that are a little less savvy on social media, probably are going to be nervous about you putting all their personal information on a church app. And so rest assured, we want to make sure you know this, but actually all of your member information is private until someone connects to you. So in other words, if I were to click on Bill Hawks or Brad Rampey, I'm actually not going to see their private information. It's going to say that this person hasn't shared their information with you yet. And you will have to send a connection request in order to see that. So you can easily look up somebody. If you want to look up Will, you know, there's a Will in here. There's actually 3. You can also filter this page. So you can just look at people that you're not connected to, people that you've received a request or you've sent a request to, and then those you're connected to or all. Now, just so you know this, if you're the admin for your church, which is only available in Premium, you automatically see every member of your church. You're basically, because they're sharing their personal information with the church. So as the admin, you have a right to see everything that they're posting onto your church app. But if you're not an admin for the church, then you have to send the connection request. Now, skipping over to the invite, this is something that's available in the free version for all of your members to invite people to join your app. So they can invite people by Facebook, Twitter, and email. And this is a great tool because the purpose of a church app is ultimately not only to provide communication, but it also, you want to have people to come into your church, see what's going on, and then see your app, join your app, and really get an idea of, is this a church that I want to belong to? Is this a church that I want to commit to? And so giving your members the ability to invite their friends is a huge asset for you and for them. Then if you click on the manage function, this is something exclusive just to Premium. So in Premium, here's some of the church controls that you have. You have the ability to remove Alejandro if, for example, he passes away. You have the ability to block Alex. Maybe you had to fire him or you had to get him out of your church for whatever reason. You can block him so he can't follow you back. And then you can also change the status. You can make somebody essentially no status, which means that they're a visitor or somebody that's looking into your church. You can make them a member, or you can make them a staff. And this just helps your other members to identify who people are and whether you know them. You can also click here to import your entire member directory all at once into the app using Excel or a CSV file. So very quickly, you can upload everybody onto the app. And then, of course, they all get emails that tell them that they've been added and how to edit their profile. Those features, all the features on this page, are only available in the Premium. So we're going to move on from the member directory to the profile page. Now, the profile page is jokingly referred to as basically the information that's already on your website. So this is not the most exciting page in the world, but it does give visitors and new members the information they're looking for, such as what is your denomination, what is your worship style, what's your church size, your address, your phone number, your website, when are your service times, and what is your staff directory, and then phone numbers and emails if you want to add those. So basically, this is what visitors are looking for. And with thousands of people getting on our app every single year, it's something very helpful for you to have in case somebody moves into your community and they simply want to surf around on SmartChurch to try to find a church that either meets their denominational needs, their worship style, or their church size. So even if you don't go with Premium, we encourage churches to at least set up a free account. And that becomes kind of your free white pages or yellow pages listing so that anyone looking for a church will find you on here and know how to connect to your church. So it does come in handy for that as well. So one statistic I'll throw out to you as well is that most people visit their church's website once or twice a year. So the difference between a website and a church app is that the goal of a church app is for people to visit your app on average 1 to 2 times a week, not a year. So that's what SmartChurch does for you. It engages your audience, and really, if you're spending hundreds of dollars or even thousands of dollars on a website, it's very easy to argue that an app is a better focus of your funds because you're going to get much better return for your investment. So skipping over to the events page, you can see what our coming events are. Here's all the listing of what's coming up. And you'll see a lot of these little church controls. So again, our purpose for building this app and for building this events page is to grow your church. And one of the ways we want to grow your church is to grow your events. So one way we do that is members can comment on the event. I showed you the comment button earlier, so they can comment and encourage other members to come. They can heart, which is kind of like liking an event. They can RSVP to the event, which lets you know, but it also lets other members know that they're coming. Now, the cool thing is, if they do either one of those 3 things, their phone will start to receive push notifications that alerts them to any changes to that event. So that will alert them if it gets snowed out, if things change, anything that could change about that event, they'll be alerted if they do one of those 3 things. The other thing is the RSVP feature is fantastic because most people wait to the last minute to commit to an event. And can you guess what their first question is? It's always, do I know someone else who's going to that event? And so the RSVP helps them to see that other people they know have already responded to the event. And that encourages growth. That encourages more people to commit and say, well, I'm going to go to that event as well. So the other button that's really helpful is this broadcast button. So let's say that you want this event to be something they invite their friends and family to. You want the whole community to come to your church and not just your members. Here's where your members can post it to their Facebook, their Twitter, and their email. All the information will be populated automatically, and they won't have to remember to do anything. And again, that's extremely helpful because the main reason people don't share about an event is because they're not sure if they know all the details. So now not only can they share it this way, but the details are always right on their phone for them to pull up and to see anywhere, anytime. And so that's going to increase the size of your events. We also do the photographs, and so I'll show you how to add a new event real quick. You upload a picture, you type in the name. Here's your start date, which again, you have a start date as well as a start time. So we can do the start time in the PM. And then you have the end date, which also has an end time in the PM. And so there we have an event. Then you have the leader, which the leader can be called Jeff, or it could be anyone but me. Pastors are always getting called about events, and so it's always very helpful for you to have somebody else in your church you can assign as the leader. So here you enter the location. So if you're meeting at Starbucks, you'd enter all the information here, but if you're meeting at your church, you just click one button and it's done. Then if you happen to be going to a ticketed event, you can also talk about who your ticket service is. If it's iTickets, you can put them right here, itickets.com. You can put the exact URL of where they go to buy tickets on that site. So you would copy and paste the URL from the iTickets website and post it here. You can also put a promotional website. For example, if you're going to see Winter Jam or something like that, you can actually post that here. And then description. You can also put a description of the events where you can say, don't forget to bring your Bibles. We're going to meet at the church at 5:30. Bring a bag lunch. Whatever it is that you need to put in that description, you put it right there and you're done. It takes about 5 minutes to do an event. And of course, the end result is this. So here, if I click the event, I can see, again, who's RSVP'd, 2 people, who's liked it, and then who's checked in. And checked in is basically your attendance. So at the event, you tell everybody, pull out your app, check in to this event on your app so that we know you're here. And if you don't have our app for any reason, you can still fill out our attendance registry or however your church prefers to take attendance for events like this. So it's just a really cool way to keep track of things, know who's there, and your members see all this information as well, so they're knowing who's there. And that's all available in the free version. So now we're going to click on the wall, and the wall is my favorite part by far. The wall is the reason why people are going to come once or twice a week or even once or twice a day to be a part of your church app. And that's because it's a conversation. The reason that Facebook and Twitter and all these social media mammoth companies take off is because they do something that our church websites typically don't do. And that's they allow your members a voice. And so you'll see that there's a little comment button where your members can comment. There's a little heart button where they can like it. And again, these 2 things will activate push notifications. If anything changes on those posts, then they're going to receive a push about it. There's also a broadcast button. Again, they can broadcast and tell people what's going on at your church, or if you're just posting a scripture and they want to share that scripture, really easy for them to post and get the word out. And then they can also post themselves. So if I'm a member of your church and I want to say, great sermon, Pastor, then I can post that. And any member can post on that and other members can comment on it. Now, the difference between freemium and premium when it comes to the wall is in premium, you're going to see these little options to delete the post or edit the post. That's only available in the premium version. So in the free version, we do it Wikipedia style, which means it's a democracy. There's no church admin in the free version. So in the free version, you can click the flag and you can flag something and say, hey, this needs to be removed or this person needs to be blocked. Whatever it is, you can flag the person, and if 3 flags happen for something, then it automatically gets removed. So this allows your church to kind of keep track of things that are on the app and to navigate it. And I know that we always get the question of, well, I don't want people to come on here and post terrible things. Well, couple things on that. Number one, if they're posting it here, they're also posting it all over the web. So at least you know about it. Number two, we've been around for about a year. We've got thousands and thousands of people using the app, and not once have we had an issue with somebody that was posting anything derogatory to our knowledge. So it's really one of those things that is probably not going to be an issue if you choose to use the free version. And so my encouragement to people is, if you're nervous about the $39.99 a month, which is what the premium costs, then go with the free version and really test it out. And if at any time you want to upgrade to premium, we can do that, and you will not lose any of your information. You can just upgrade, keep all your information, and then take over and have all those church controls that you've seen in this demo. So that's it for the demo. If you've gone through this demo, you can email us at ideas@smartchurch.com. Just let us know that you went through the demo, and we are very likely to send you a special offer. So I can't tell you more about what that is, because it probably will change from the time I've recorded this to the time that we send it. But we will send you a special offer. And so that's something that you guys may want to take advantage of. Again, you would email ideas@smartchurch.com. And then before you get off of this, we would encourage you to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We're at The Smart Church. We're also on Pinterest. I believe it's just Smart Church there. And we're on Instagram. So follow us in those places. Oh, and YouTube as well. So follow us in YouTube and Facebook and all these great places. Let us know what's going on with you. Post things. Hashtag us, or put our Twitter account name whenever you tweet. That's just a great way for us to know that you guys are doing things on the app. And then we always try to retweet and favorite those things as well, which give it a lot greater exposure for you as well. So we appreciate you guys going through this demo, and please let us know if you have any questions.